South Jersey Football Frenzy Show here, presented by South Jersey Glory Days. Our guy Sully, we're here in Studio B as we get ready for sectional final weekend in the Publix, and the non-pubs are going to go to the second round in non-pub A and the rest of the first round in non-pub B. Mac?
Already an eventful playoff season, and now we got sectional titles on the line. So it's a big step for a lot of schools. A lot of schools haven't been in this spot. A lot of schools looking to get back to where, a lot of schools are in familiar territory. So, but with the opportunity to play for that South Jersey championship to go on to, as we know, an eventual state championship. But first things first, win your sectional, take care of business.
It used to be the grand poobah of games. This is Thanksgiving, and now these games have been diminished in value, but for the right reason.
I know you're the wordsmith, but I don't think they're diminished in value. I think this is still a sectional title, which is huge.
But it's not the end-all, be-all.
No, it is not. You win, you continue to play, which is a pretty cool thing. So it's, you have teams, and, one that I'm familiar with has a chance to match a situation that nobody in their, only one other team has done. And there are schools in that situation that can match their school's history. We'll talk about further history in the following weeks, but this is still a big week.
It is a big week, and there's nothing that's ever going to stop a team from hanging a banner for sectional championship, and that means something. Of course it means something, and it's going to be quite a wet night on Friday night here. The weather, I know that many of you go back and watch the show or listen to it after the fact. The game times that we're going to give you are what were listed. I know some might change. That could certainly happen. I know it's happened up north already, as Phillipsburg is going to play West Orange in a North Group 5 final, I think, on Thursday night. I believe Delsey, who we'll talk about, undefeated, is hosting Hopewell Valley. That'll be on Saturday night. So there are some adjustments based on the weather.
They're going to make some, and some of them are going to make decisions Thursday, tomorrow. So.
Well, right.
Yeah. And others might make it on a game day. They might make it on Friday. And, they don't have to make it, see what happens.
There is a lot to touch on. Thank you guys again for tuning in. South Jersey here has an opportunity to possibly have 9 West Jersey League teams out of those 10 state semifinalists in the Publix. And
we're looking right now, I think,
we'll see.
14 out of 20 in the sectional for South and Central. As you said, 9 out of 10 possibly, which is, speaks a lot to South Jersey football. I know there's some Central Jersey teams that want to kind of change that narrative, but, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm seeing, look at this.
Seeing our scores.
Look at this.
Our bottom line.
Bottom line matchups coming up.
Scrolling marquee. We'll keep you on task,
That's
man.
good. That's good stuff, Rod.
Great job, Rod. We are again though. If those times change, don't come after us. These are at the time of publication.
Don't come after Rod either.
Yeah, don't come after Rod. This is at the time of publication. We're going to go through and preview these games, all 10 of these sectional finals that we have in Central/South Jersey. Remember, the state semifinals, the winners of these games are going to play at Cherokee next weekend on Saturday and Sunday. 5 games over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
Good ticket.
So this is
big ticket.
Yeah, definitely.
Great venue.
Big ticket.
Win and you're invited.
Win and you're invited. And you know what? Some teams didn't get invited to this weekend. And let's go ahead and talk about the games that we got coming up. We're going to go through and preview this like this. First segment of the show, Group 1. Second segment of the show, Group 2 and Group 3, Max Soapbox. Final segment of the show, Group 4 and 5. Talk about which one of those is the game of the week. And then we'll let everybody go off and go buy your ponchos. Right?
Yeah. Well, football can be played in the rain.
It won't need to be played in the rain at Woodbury because they play at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, and the rain should be gone by then. Woodbury is 8-2. In South Jersey Group 1 final, they're going to host Maple Shade, the 3 seed, who's 9-2. Woodbury's won the previous matchup this season, 38-14. They've played Maple Shade now 3 times in the past 2 years. This will be the 4th time. All wins for the Herd. The Herd beat Shore on Saturday. It was about Well, we said they beat Maple Shade 3 times in a row. It was about 3 times worth of wins over Shore. 45-8. It was a rout in every sense of the word. Brian Johnson, 8 of 11 passing, 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wilson Torres, 94-yard touchdown run. Anthony Reagan Jr., 80-yard touchdown run. Jabron Solomon, 65-yard punt return. We will talk about the non-publics in the final segment as well, guys. I promise. I promise. We're going to talk about the non-publics. This is a 3-braided cord, Coach Reagan said, when you look at special teams, defense, and offense. He also talked to his team about the importance of starters, backups, and coaches. This is 3 different braids to this cord, and Woodbury hit on every one of them with a blowout win. Now, Maple Shade beat Asbury Park 27-18. They were down 12-0 at halftime on the road to the second-seeded Bishops. Came back to win, took a 14-12 lead in the third. Asbury Park scores early fourth quarter, takes a lead. But a trick play ends up with Sean Loomis throwing a 7-yard touchdown to Ryan Mulcahy, his second of the day. And Thomas Caliamoris, 40-yard pick six, clinches Maple Shade's first ever appearance in the sectional final. Mac, 2 teams, 2 programs that know quite a bit about each other over the past couple of years, going to renew acquaintances again. And when you look at both of them taking care of business against Shore Conference teams, what stands out to you?
Well, Woodbury's been the perennial over the years. If that this is Maple Shade trying to kick its way into the dance, so to speak, right? I mean, it's the newcomer. They were down about half. I mean, kudos to them for coming, doing what they did on the road. Woodbury seems to be moving on all cylinders right now, or all 3 cylinders, as Coach wants to say, right? But I would say 4, possibly 6, doing whatever they wanted to against Shore. So if you're Woodbury, you gotta be like, hey guys, we gotta you don't just, this isn't the next game's not the 5th quarter. We gotta reset and do what we need to do. It can get a little dangerous, right? You have a team that you've had their number. That can go, sometimes that goes both ways a little bit. Sometimes it's kids get a little bit, hey, well, we can take care of these, or sometimes it's like we feel good. And, first score is important, right? I hate not to sound so, but if Maple Shade can get on the board and get some things going, then, they get some of the mojo. But I think if Woodbury, if that Ferrari gets juicing, it's
I'll
tough.
tell you what, I mean, the big plays from Woodbury this year, it's so hard to bottle them up. And
they got dudes. A lot.
they got some serious dudes. Now, this is going to be a much tougher test than the Shore game. And maybe the score ends up being lopsided in favor of Woodbury. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it'll be a little bit tighter. But the Herd just were so much better than Shore. Bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, they look like it's almost not even the same sport. Maple Shade knows what it's up against.
Yeah.
And they also have a shorter drive than Shore.
Yeah, they do. I mean, look, Woodbury's really good. We've talked about them all year. And, Maple Shade's going to have their hands full. But I think that's how they want it right now. No, they're going to circle their wagons. We all know that the speeches that they're going to be told before their game. So, if sometimes, was the field still wet?
Well, if you want to see 10:30 in the morning, I mean, there's a possibility if you're a real football junkie on Saturday, you could see 3 games so far that we know of, because the Central Jersey Group 1 final will be at noon at Salem. You might be able to catch the second half if see some of that Woodbury game. Salem, 7-4, the 2 seed. It's going to host Paulsboro, 6-4 on Walnut Street. Wouldn't you know it, Paulsboro and Salem find their way back to each other here in the sectional final. Salem beats Glassboro 42-22. Ja'Kai Coates, 1 touchdown passing, 4 rushing. Ramaji Bundy catches a touchdown, runs for 1, 90 receiving yards on 2 catches. Paulsboro won the matchup in the regular season, 23-16. It was a game Salem held a lead at halftime. They went up by 9 early in the second quarter. Paulsboro started to climb back, and really it was a hinge point in their season. They found some things that, propelled them forward.
Yeah.
Now, look at them. They beat Woodstown, the top seed, a tough place to play. Beat them 15-6 on Friday night. Rocco Pellegrini, 110 yards passing and a touchdown. Jamil Gant caught a touchdown. Preston Moore, pop, 9 rushes, 55 yards and a touchdown. You cannot overstate what Kevin Harvey's done as head coach this year. Starting out 0-3 for the first time since, we said it back then, I don't know, Chuck Langham's not around, the 70s, I think it was, to build back.
Pre-Glenn.
To say we're going to find guys who have heart to do that, to continue to beat the odds, to beat Woodstown on the road.
Well, I mean, look,
what a win for the Red Raiders.
Huge. I mean, well, like when you have a guy, Coach Harvey, who played at the school, knows the tradition.
Didn't just play there.
Well, yeah, he's the greatest one. Yeah, I mean, if not the all-time greatest player. Besides, and taking over for a legend in Glenn. I mean,
that's right.
It was a tough chore to begin with, but not many coaches could be in this situation of saying, look, I don't have any inside info, but knowing Coach Harvey as a player and his tradition down there, what he's been through. I mean, it was, you're going to play Paulsboro football, or you can hand in your pads and see you. Like, they don't care. They'll show up with 12 kids.
Yeah.
Heck, they'll show up with 10.
Yeah.
If you're not,
exactly
they don't.
right.
If you're not willing to play Paulsboro football, that's fine. And if you're not ready, we'll just do it next year.
Right.
Because Coach Harvey's not going anywhere, right? And that's kind of how Glenn's had it for years down there. Like, you were going to do what's required to win football games, and they did. 19 times.
Well, and you know what? I mean, Coach Harvey had to deal with a tough schedule, finding out the identity of this team, new pieces and new parts. But not only that, he had to deal with a lot of uproar from the bleachers.
Oh.
And that happens. I mean, that happened with Glenn Howard. It's not, it wasn't like Glenn had it on easy street. I mean, he heard it all the time. So to be able to pull things together, get in that locker room and say, guys, we're coming together. We're going to go out and do our thing, and it's going to work. And I'll never forget that 4th and medium conversion that they had against Salem in that game when they were down 16-7. When Rocco Pellegrini throws a slant, completes it on his own side of the field. Harvey showing trust in his players redeeming that, them going on and winning that game. That was a crucial point for them. Now you switch around and look at the other side. Last year, Salem beat Paulsboro in the championship for the first time in 100 years, right? They beat them because they had regrouped after they lost to Paulsboro in the regular season. And this year, that Paulsboro loss, that's when things started to slide for Salem. And now they're back again. And it's Paulsboro coming to Walnut Street. Salem is seeking its 2nd consecutive sectional title. Ooh, say that 5 times fast. Actually, say it 3 times fast. It would be Salem's 3rd overall sectional title. Paulsboro, how many do you think they have?
I know how many they have. A lot.
Yeah. They're seeking number 20. It's going to be an absolutely great game on Saturday, the Central Jersey Group 1 final. So we have Salem and Paulsboro, Saturday at noon, and Saturday at 10:30 a.m., Woodbury hosting Maple Shade. All 4 West Jersey Football League teams, all 4 traditional South Jersey teams.
Cream of the crop of the state of Group 1 is right in these 4 schools. Garrett, yep.
We weren't sure who it would be, if it would be Woodstown or Paulsboro. I think we felt Salem would probably be there, and a young Glassboro team that will be around for years to come now. Maple Shade was the one you look at. They're the heavy underdog. They're down 12-0 at halftime. To pull that out, it's a big deal. So congratulations, Coach Pound Company. But Woodbury certainly hitting its groove. We'll see what happens. Group 1 football is always a blast, and both those games will be on Saturday. So if you want to get out after that rain and enjoy some sunshine, fingers crossed, be sure to do that. Mac, we're going to take a quick break here. Everybody hang with us. Share this out. We got a lot to preview yet. We got Group 2 and Group 3 in the next segment. Get on the soapbox. Take a look back at our TurnersvilleJeep.com game of the week in there. Final segment, we'll do Groups 4 or 5, and yes, non-public matchups as well, of course. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We'll be right back after this.
The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is sponsored by Mall Chevrolet on Haddonfield Road. Mall Chevy is South Jersey's largest Chevy dealer and has been a big part in helping our community grow. They're proud to sponsor South Jersey High School football. Mall Chevy is our area's go-to dealership with the largest selection of brand new Chevys and a huge inventory of pre-owned vehicles, plus an award-winning 5-star service department. They're located on Haddonfield Road across from the Cherry Hill Mall, or visit them at mallchevy.com. A special thank you to Dave O'Sullivan of South Jersey Glory Days, sjglorydays.com. South Jersey Glory Days brings us a platform that we've been on here for the last couple of years. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show would not be possible without him. Visit Sully's website, sjglorydays.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Atlantic Chrysler Jeep Fiat. Located on Tilton Road in Egg Harbor Township, it's been a big part in helping the community grow. Proud to sponsor South Jersey High School football. Atlantic Chrysler Jeep Fiat. Tremendous selection of brand new cars and pre-owned vehicles. An award-winning service department. A presenting sponsor of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The show is also sponsored by Jersey Gridiron Scout. Coach Tom Pagic is Jersey Gridiron Scout, the premier recruiting service platform for all middle school and high school prospects in the tri-state area when it comes to football. Jersey Gridiron Scout does 3 things for football prospects. 1, they have a senior showcase in December and an underclassmen showcase in May for high school prospects to be evaluated in front of more than 50 colleges. 2, they have off-season winter indoor position trainings for youth, high school, and college prospects from January to June at the Fieldhouse in Moorestown. And 3, they educate families on the college football recruiting process and timeline. Check out Tom's website at jerseygridironscout.com for more information. Follow him on Instagram at Jersey Gridiron Scout and on Twitter at Coach Pagic. That's at Coach P-A-J-I-C. South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Cherry Hill Jeep on Route 70, home of the real zero-down deal. For over 50 years, Cherry Hill Jeep's been a big part in helping the community grow, and they remain proud to sponsor South Jersey High School football.
Welcome back, South Jersey football fans. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Let's talk about groups 2 and 3, MAC, in the South and Central brackets. First off, South Jersey Group 2. Raritan, the top seed at 8 and 2, is going to host Rumson Fairhaven, the second seed at 6 and 4, Friday at 7 p.m. 2 shore conference teams who got here by way of similar results against Atlantic County schools. Teams we're used to seeing in these brackets. Raritan beat Pleasantville 28-7. And Rumson beat Oakcrest 28-6.
2 good football teams, handily. Pleasantville, Oakcrest just not ready yet. I mean, Raritan, Rumson, they're perennial two playoff teams. So, will be interesting what happens on the other side, of course.
Yeah.
Some surprises and some not so surprises.
We've got some. I don't know. I'm going to speak to the comments. We've got some folks in here saying 18th and 19th. I'm looking at the NJSI website right here, and it says 19th or 20th at Cherokee. So I don't know. I mean,
could be Friday.
What do you think?
It could be a little typo.
Could be Friday.
Could be.
Could be Friday, right?
I guess we don't know.
Well, I'm just looking at he could have the dates mixed up. It could be the 19th and 20th. Because that's 1, 3, and 5, so that would have to be on a Saturday. It couldn't be Friday.
I think it's 19th and 20th. Guys.
Yeah,
I
so
think
it's
it's
probably
Saturday
19th,
and Sunday, but
I would think, but
don't make us bring Derek back on the show.
Right? We're still 10 days. We're still.
Rod. All right, guys. Central Jersey Group 2. I got to stay out of the comments. They say stay out of the comments section, but you know what? I can't help it. I want to help you guys.
It's like
out.
listening to the parents in the stands. You got to just,
What, run the ball? Give my son the ball?
Give him the ball. Give him the ball.
What are you doing, Coach? That's my favorite. What are you doing?
What are you doing, Coach? Oh, man. Give him a chance.
Man.
Give him a chance.
Just for the record.
Just give him a chance,
Just for the record.
Coach.
It's not, these guys are on it. The commenters are on it. we're playing shorthanded. We've both been under the weather, and of course, we're both still brokenhearted about the Phillies. So,
Well,
all right, let's go easy, guys.
we're okay. We'll be all right.
He just corrected it. It is Saturday, Sunday, which is the 19th and 20th. I knew by the times that it couldn't have been Friday, so he probably
Will's
just said
on
the
it.
dates.
Will's always
Will knows.
on it.
He definitely knows.
Agnew's not going to have people floating around that place on Friday on a school day. I don't even know. He might not even be there Saturday. Who knows?
All right.
Anyway,
Okay. We're back.
I could be
Central Jersey Group 2. Mac, 2 upsets we had in the semifinals here. First, let's talk about Gloucester.
Hold on. Was it 2 upsets or 1? But we'll talk about Gloucester beating Haddonfield.
Gloucester beats Haddonfield 14-13. Now, Gloucester was at home, but a lot of people Gloucester wasn't at home. Gloucester's on the road. They win this thing 14-13. Jake Seibert ran for a touchdown. John Daly threw a touchdown in a trick play. Not a touchdown. My gosh, what is going on with me, man? We need to splash some water on me. All right. Gloucester beats Haddonfield, upsets them on the road. 14-13. Not of the week. Rod, take it away. Get me off the screen.
What's crazy about this game is
At this point, though, Matt, real quick, Haddonfield's winning 13-17. They're lined up for a field goal.
13-7,
9.
right?
Yeah.
Boom.
Mason Jankowski blocks it. Jaden Gill. Look at this.
Mind you, in this game, Haddonfield was up 13-7, and when they scored to go up 13-7, went for 2. They went for 2 to try to make it 15-7, missed the 2, end up getting the ball back again, driving the length of the field down to the 14-yard line. This was a 30-yard attempt, and boom, scoop, score.
I mean, that's just not of the week. That's not of a lifetime for a Gloucester Lion.
Because there's still 11 minutes left, but they hadn't been moving the ball well. I mean, Haddonfield had been controlling the game. You know, they kicked they get the block kick, the scoop, score. They kicked the extra point, go up 14-13. A lot of things had to, kind of fall into place there. And that's sometimes, serendipitous for them.
Gloucester, this magical run, that plays indicative right there. If they go on to win this thing, they'll look back at that and they'll remember it. They'll remember it forever anyway, right? Upset on the road, Haddonfield. But to block that and run it in like that, to have, what do they call them? Would you call it a pack of lions escorting them to the end zone?
Pride?
Pride.
Yeah,
Pride.
Gloucester at 8-2. They're going to host the 4 seed Willingboro Friday at 7 p.m. And how about Willingboro?
Dayquil, NyQuil.
All quill.
He's quilled.
We had Coach Steve Everett and Kamad Rice, his star receiver, heck of a young man. We had them here on Sunday in my Hats Off podcast.
Do you think this was an upset?
Did I? No, but the seeds indicate that it was,
Schmeeds.
Mac.
I think we alluded to this one last week.
For the 4th consecutive time, Willingboro is headed to a sectional final. Go back and make sure you see that interview or listen to it because Coach Everett was great, and so was Kamad Rice. Lamar Best threw 5 touchdown passes. Derek Bryant and Derek Fryer ran the ball well. Kamad Rice, as we said, holding 3 touchdown passes. As Willingboro rolled Point Pleasant Borough, the 1 seed in this bracket, 50-30.
50.
Whew. 50 points.
Dudes.
Willingboro, how about this?
They got guys.
Yeah, they got some guys. Since being 1-5, Willingboro's won 4 in a row by an average of 44.5 to just under 15. Now, on the other side of things, since being 3-2, Gloucester's won 5 in a row by an average of 24 to 4.5. Gloucester's seeking its first sectional title in history. Willingboro's hoping for its third. This is an offense versus defense, Mac, and it'll be at Gloucester on Friday night.
Yeah, again, Willingboro's got a lot of firepower, but look, Gloucester's riding the high. I mean, who would have thought last week with that winning a game that way? It's good. Like you said, offense versus defense.
Yeah.
When you put up 50, though, that's some offense.
It's a great matchup here in this championship because you get Gloucester and Willingboro, two small communities, full of pride, and not traditionally in the same groupings. They've both moved up and down from 1 to 2 and around there. But Willingboro, coach said after, and Kamad said this as well, didn't he, Rod? After they lost that Pennsauken game with the fumble, they were down, I think, 19-0 at halftime, and they came back to take the lead. They fumbled it away. Sauken ran it in, and it's just a debilitating loss.
Right. But in that loss, they said that was the time when they knew that they can play the way that they wanted to play. They just had to, believe and kind of, stay focused on their goal.
Well, that's a credit to Coach Everett and the guys.
It is.
I mean, that can, it's easier. That's when it's always easier to look back and say, well, that's when we decided that we were a team and this, that, and the other. I mean, it's also a time where, you could have been on a bus ride on the way home and been like, we've all been on those bus rides where you got coaches sitting between players too, unfortunately. So, to their credit, they got it together, and they got it together for sure.
South Jersey Group 3, this game has been moved to Saturday night. Delsey at 10-0 will host Hopewell Valley at 10-0. Kevin Minnick says this is the guy who's going to make a star out of himself. His name's Wayne Adair. He might have already done it. He had 9 carries for 167 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Crusaders as they beat Camden Eastside 49-14 in the semifinals. Excuse me. Jared Shoppy and Luke Maxwell each ran for touchdowns as well. Another ho-hum performance for them. They have their sights set squarely on the 15th sectional title in school history. They'll face Hopewell Valley, who beat Burlington Township in the semis 22-16. Tim McAneney threw for 174 yards, ran for a touchdown, and threw for 2 touchdowns. One of them was a 16-yarder in the final seconds as the Bulldogs ended the Falcons' season. Township finished 4-7. Mac, this is going to be Saturday night, so a lot of folks might end up down there, especially if they decide to sit in on Friday night and they want to get out and see a championship. Delsey, the prohibitive favorite in this, even if both teams are undefeated, I would say.
Yes.
All right. Didn't take much to convince him.
Absolutely. Sal, I'm sorry. You don't want to hear it. You are the favorite. Delsey could play in the Hurricane Friday night too, if they needed to. So, that steamroller's rolling.
Central Jersey Group 3, the TurnersvilleJeep.com game of the week last week was Seneca and Highland. It did not disappoint as the Golden Eagles remained unbeaten, the top seed over in that bracket. They won 29-28. Backup quarterback Colin Walsh came in for an injured Braden Davis, threw the game-winning touchdown pass to Kyle Stickle in the final minutes. They held on defensively to come away with a big win. Davis had an AC joint injury. It's not clear if he's going to play this weekend or not. Coach Fisher and company thought if there's any way, he'll be doing it. And you know what? You can't count the kid out. He's done a lot for them all season. He runs it. He passes it. Zach Fearon runs it as well. Now, it's been a magical run for Coach Fish and Seneca. Can the magic continues? Camden hopes to end it. The Panthers are looking every bit the part. Again, the defense showed up and shut down an opponent. Cedar Creek this time, 25-0 at Farnham Park on Friday. Deontay Ruffin ran for a couple touchdowns. Jaleer Stanley, 21 carries, 182 yards and a touchdown. There's that run game for the playoffs. They each ran for 6 in the first quarter. Tamir Bush's pick 6 made it 18-0 before halftime. Bush had 2 picks on the day. Taquan Brittingham, a hat man, had another. The Panthers are seeking their first championship in football since 19 76. Gas was 59 cents a gallon then, Mac. It's not anymore. Seneca's only reached one title game in its brief history as a program. That came in 2006. They lost to Lacey, 12-0. Mac, this has been Seneca's miraculous season, as I mentioned.
Yeah, look, and they, having the injury that they did, that's not a good recipe for Seneca. But when teams like this have been rallying together, at this time of year, anything can happen. Camden High's, it's surprising they haven't had a sectional title since '76. That was when reading that or hearing that. That's kind of.
Look at Rod's face. Rod, how old were you then? You weren't even around, were you?
I wasn't around.
No,
I was on board.
76.
Preston and Malik Brown's dad was on that team.
Yeah,
Yes.
76. There were some good Camden High teams in the 70s. I was around. I saw some of them play.
I mean, for me being a Camden native, that's a little shocking too, because you had the great '88, Reggie Lawrence,
right.
and you had Arthur Bussey, all those guys. Right. That's a little shocking to me as a kid coming up.
Yeah. That's why I'm like 76. So.
Well, if you said 76 and then you list all the guys that played there, and you said 76, people say no way.
Right, and so I'm sure we're not saying anything that Coach Hintz isn't saying in those locker rooms, right? I mean, this is another banner. We all know what they get the pub there for that school gets, with the hoops going on.
Well, let me tell you this. Coach Hinson's saying in that locker room, and Coach, if I'm wrong, then you know what, you know who to talk to. He's saying, I don't care about who you beat last week, and I don't care how long it's been since we won a championship, and I don't care who's coming to the game or where it's played. You go out and do what you got to do and take care of the man across from you, and we'll see where the dust settles. Now, Mac, I'm no football coach, but does that sound about right?
You would like to think it's take care of business, do your job, and let's not took too forward. Don't worry about what happened last night, yesterday, last play even. He'll have the guys focused, that's for sure.
And I think Seneca, on the other hand, is going to come into this a lot like they did last week. I think a lot of people thought Highland would beat them, and they didn't. And Seneca's going to say, well, we're undefeated, and we found a way to get it done every week. And everybody is coming for Camden's coronation. Let's spoil the surprise. So that's going to be an entertaining game.
I was curious to say that this game feels like Seneca is the underdog of this game, but that's kind of been their thing all season.
Right.
They've kind of gone under the radar, just winning and winning, and a lot of people haven't been talking about them.
We didn't start talking. We went maybe 5-0. We were like, Fish.
Right.
Yeah, we always love Fish, but we're like, Fish is winning now. Now they're in a sectional title against Camden High at Camden High. It's So
it's a big game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a good game. Is that what the soapbox is about? I'm interested in the soapbox at this point.
Are you really?
Please go ahead. The box is yours.
The box is mine. Look, it was a little bit dawned on me on the way home. I was going, I'm driving to Frank after the Shawnee loss. Shawnee loses to Hamilton. Well, I know we're going to discuss it. We'll talk about it. And I got two freshmen in the car, and the freshmen say to me, one of my sons say, I feel really bad, Dad, for the seniors. I feel, sometimes it doesn't dawn on those juniors and sophomores that this is it, right? This is like, and I'm proud of my 15-year-old Tommy, who could recognize that, wow, this was the last game for Ethan Krause and Sam Beamer and Josh Palouse and Jimmy Potter, and there's those guys at every school, Jackson Harris, at every school in South Jersey. And for the younger kids to understand, the freshmen, the juniors, that, you'll have another shot. But this team, the team you have right now will never be that team. It'll never, the Phillies made me think of it, right? Well, the Phillies will be back, you'll never be that team. This is the team. They're independent of themselves. You might have a team that's like this team or similar to the team, but the team will never be the same team. The way the makeup is, the way the kids are, the seniors, the juniors, So, look, your seniors will run the emotion will come from the seniors, but the thriving and the underclassmen, the juniors and the sophomores, the way they, the way they can recognize that, wow, this is some finality to this. And you get to these sectional title games, these are literally your do or die games, right? You win sectional title. You lose. Most of these teams, no more Thanksgiving. This is it. So you get the double bubble. You lose the sectional title game, and you're done your football world. So, I guess what's the soapbox, man? You never know when you're going to get an opportunity. You never know when you're going to get to Game 5 or Game 6 in a World Series again. You never know when you're going to get to a sectional title or get to an opportunity to play for a state championship again, right?
Doesn't everybody remember that last time in the parking lot after graduation high school, or if you ever played a sport, the last time you took off the uniform, and if it was in high school? I mean,
well,
you never forget that.
Which also lends into, I heard some of the moms say, there was, there's other kids, they play basketball, they wrestle, they play lacrosse, baseball. There's something about taking off the pads for the last time. You don't put them back on unless you play, not every, people want to play, folks want to play on Sundays.
Football's different.
Everybody wants to play on Saturdays. You might, the touch football game with Uncle John at Thanksgiving doesn't count. Right. You can play other sports competitively. You don't really play football the way it's played, the game is played. So there is some finality to that, and having that all come together and being that, those opportunities that are in front of the guys, we all, the regrets, right? You don't want to be sitting back going, wow, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? That's why these practices this week are the best. These next couple of weeks, the teams that keep winning, believe it or not, even as the weather gets colder, they become more, they're fun. I'm not saying they're fun to coach too, because nobody's fooling around. Everybody's, and it's not all high intensity all the time, but everybody's got they can see it now. They can taste the end. They can, the championships.
Well, like Fred Shero said, win today and walk together forever. And that's the message. We talk about the state championship and how important that is in the sectional semifinals. The state semifinals. But you're in ink if you win this one.
Yeah.
If not, you're not underlined. You're not bolded. And so that's the opportunity in front of you to be legendary. It's funny that you say that, Mac, because Bill Simmons this week in his podcast, which I don't frequently listen to, but I did listen to it this week to try to catch up on what I missed over the weekend, said his son is 15 and their football team lost, and on the ride home he's like, well, I'm never going to play with the seniors again. He's like, that's the point. Wake up. It's the playoffs.
Well, that's...
So your soapbox is kind of the same as the most popular podcast in America. So
I don't know if I got that one.
We'll see. It just means, you're keep them coming. Next, we'll talk about the Celtics after this. We do have a lot more to talk about, guys. We've got to talk about groups 4 and 5, the non-public playoff matchups. Talk a little bit about the weather, maybe, and how you should prepare for this Friday night, and if games are going to get moved. Our guy Marty's here. We're going to talk about a play he drew up that helped push the Tribe onto a sectional final. All that and more. Share this thing out on Facebook. We also, I don't know, Atlantic, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat game of the week. I think we got to talk about it. We'll be back right after this, guys. Stay tuned.
The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is sponsored by TurnersvilleJeep.com on Route 42 in Turnersville. Turnersville Jeep is proud to sponsor South Jersey High School football. TurnersvilleJeep.com has a huge inventory of Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Ram trucks, all brand new. They also have a ton of pre-owned vehicles, plus an award-winning 5-star service department. Drive a little and save a lot at TurnersvilleJeep.com. They're located on Route 42 in Turnersville, or visit TurnersvilleJeep.com. The show is also sponsored by the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 2 years, the association has created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated more than $20,000 to date to provide scholarships and help those in need. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products, who also sponsor the show. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They have built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley. I've had the opportunity to be around owner Mike Fody, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold-accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the Elite Provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up numerous Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com. Thank you to our sponsor, Ricky Moriello at Remax Community. If you or someone you know is looking for real estate in South Jersey, find Ricky and reach out to him. He's helped us bring this show to you each week for the last couple of years. We can't be more grateful for that. He knows where to find your real estate. Give him a ring at 609-352-9476. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Cherry Hill Kia and Cherry Hill Mitsubishi on Route 70. If you want to talk about top-notch selection and service that's the best around, take your car to either of these dealerships. You won't be disappointed. And while you're there, you could probably talk some ball too. These guys love South Jersey football. Get over to Cherry Hill Kia or Cherry Hill Mitsubishi today.
South Jersey Football Frenzy Show Game of the Week this week is sponsored by Atlantic Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat, located on Tilton Road in Egg Harbor Township. Been a big part in helping the community grow. Proud to sponsor South Jersey High School football coverage and these playoffs. Atlantic Chrysler Jeep Fiat, tremendous selection of brand new cars, big inventory of pre-owned vehicles, plus an award-winning 5-star service department. We're going to talk about our Game of the Week here in a minute. And if you're at that game, take a selfie. For 1 week, you'll get a free oil change at Atlantic Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat, located on Tilton Road in Egg Harbor Township. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show, guys. We really appreciate it. All right, Mac, we're going to talk about Group 4 here first. Let's get right into it. South Jersey Group 4, top-seeded Hamilton, 9-2. They're going to host second-seeded Millville, 8-2, Friday at 6 p.m. You were there, Mac, and you saw it. Hamilton finally got past Shawnee in the playoffs. They were down 10-0 before you could blink an eye. They come back and win 27-16. Kenny Smith, 26 carries, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns. Justin Dowdy with an interception. Mac, what can you say about the effort the Blue Devils put to battle back?
I mean, look, it was a ton of credit where going down to 10-0, but you could Hamilton's run game. I mean, we kind of tease on this show. Oh, they throw the ball 6-7 times a game, 8 times a game. I think they only threw 4 times, quite frankly. And one of them was a halfback pass, but 2 of them were for key first downs.
Yeah.
You know, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 conversions. Kenny Smith is he's different. He's going to be special. He is special. He's going to be special. Tough to get your hands on him. When you do get your hands on him, tough to bring down. Having that counter coming back, you know, you're sitting there going, you know, I love parents, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing the same thing. Well,
yeah.
You know, not really, because sometimes Kenny Smith is sticking his foot in his ground and going outside. Sometimes Kenny Smith is sticking his foot and going inside.
That's right.
And sometimes they're coming back and running counter and doing some different things. Shawnee, look, Shawnee, if you're on a Shawnee perspective, opportunities, right? A couple turnovers, a lot of penalties. And Hamilton took advantage, right? Hamilton took advantage of the game, but didn't get down 10-0. You could the sideline was still, you know, when you're a run football team, everybody says, oh, you know, you can't come back. You get down a score or 2, and that was the recipe, right? Get up on them a little bit. But when you're a run football team and you can get chunks,
Yeah.
When you're running, boom, 18, boom, 15.
Well,
You know,
I mean, I'm no math major, but 26 carries for 209. That's a shade under 10 per, right?
boom.
I mean,
Yeah. Did I say boom?
you said boom.
Yeah, he explodes. He's a tough kid to bring down.
And I think
slippery.
And to Kevin's point earlier about Wayne Adair, I think sometimes it's unfortunate. James Hill probably the same way. These guys that run in wing T, sometimes it's like, well, they run it every time. They put up these big numbers, but they get lost in how great they are. You know, if Kenny Smith were on another team, he would have a ton of yards as well, just because he's so. I mean, you can't just run for this many yards because you're in a wing T.
Well,
You need a great line. I understand that.
some
Kenny
people
Smith's a heck of a player.
some people would say it's almost harder because they know they're going to the ball's going to Kenny Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop 3. Well,
Right.
you know,
Right.
yeah, well, right? Or just cover cover AJ Brown, right? Just cover
Same
him,
deal.
right? You know, no, he's a guy. So you know, this will be a fun sectional final. You know,
Yeah, I think so too, Mac.
you know, you got a lot of talent on Millville, obviously, and talent on Hamilton too. Hamilton's going to do it a little bit differently, right? Hamilton seems a little bit, as we talk on the show, a little more one-dimensional, and I don't say that in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop that dimension. Where Millville they got a lot of different ways to get you.
Well, Millville beat Jackson 34-16. They were down 9-0 to start the game. They were down 16-15 at halftime, and they put the Jags away in the second half. Jacob Zamat, 20 of 30 for 294 and 2 touchdowns. Demir White ran for 2 touchdowns. Latsier Brooks, 7 catches, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. Freddie Levon, third, 134 yards receiving. And interesting name on the score sheet here, Brashear Hunter, who came into the season. We thought he would be the number 1 back and came back a couple of weeks ago. Now, Naeem Sharp and I said Demir White have done an excellent job, and they'll continue to do what they do. But Brashear Hunter had 6 carries for 58 yards, and he's a guy that can get it done when it matters most. He's fought his way back. We'll see. It's interesting. This game, look, Millville's only loss in South Jersey this year was to Lenape. They're in the finals. Hamilton's 2 losses were to Delsey and the mainland. They're in the finals. The Bolts are seeking their 4th sectional title. The Blue Devils are seeking their 7th. Something tells me I don't think the folks in Hamilton will be too upset with the forecast on Friday night. But we'll see. And this is going to be our Atlantic Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat game of the week. I will be there, Max.
So you think there's a possibility they going to play this?
Well, it brings an interesting point, and I hope Will Hickson's still in here. Kevin could say it as well. Some of this now is at the state's discretion, right?
Well,
because they're technically state games being played at home sites. I mean, the states are selling the tickets.
Well, it was always the schools. It's always been a school's decision up until a certain time, and then it becomes. School can cancel it. Like Hamilton could say, you know what, we're canceling it. We want to go Saturday. Now, they think these things could have changed, but eventually the refs take over, and meaning the state. Eventually officials take over and say, we're not playing in 6 inches of water, Hamilton. But, Hamilton's grass field. Why? Unless there's lightning, why not? That's part of the home field advantage, right?
Hammy definitely wants to play in the rain.
They got hoses out
the
before.
Ball out of the air.
Yeah.
Yes, ground and pound.
Yeah.
Let's take a walk down memory lanes, shall we? And Kevin, if you're still on here, you'll remember this very well. It was October 29th last year when Hamilton came to Triton. Kevin and I were there. Hamilton won that game. I don't even remember. Let's look, 43-0. It rained so hard the whole game. And they said this Hamilton team, I'm like, how is this team is just running through Triton. It's touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. They were playing Shawnee next, and they lost in the playoffs. They said, this team's young. They're going to be really good. I'm like, they look really good right now. A year later, Hamilton.
Does the rain?
They're really good. They're really good. The rain,
the little
it's back.
rain dance. Yeah,
The trench coat is coming out.
Hamilton might throw the ball three
Will says,
times.
there could be lightning. That's a concern.
Well,
mutually agreed on by both schools. Thank you, Will Hickson, for clearing that up.
Yeah, lightning. That's different, right? I mean, look, part of these. I have a lot of gray hairs texting me, going, "What do you mean they're talking about moving games and canceling stuff? Half these teams play on turf. What the heck? You don't move a game, but there's a lot of other factors. The band, the cheerleaders. Nobody wants to." So,
I'm just glad I was sick last weekend, because if I wasn't, I was going to get sick this weekend. That much is true. At least it's going to wash these 78-degree days out of here. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't feel like championship weather.
no, it was too warm this week.
All right, Central Jersey Group 4, Middletown South, the top seed.
I agree with Trible on that. November 75 is not good.
Listen, I'm able to go
You're
out.
fine.
I'm able to
you
go
know
out
what?
to some games.
I get out there to Woodbury on Saturday morning for that game, and I see AD Dan Howie. I go up to him and I'm talking. The first thing that happens, a yellow jacket almost stings me on the leg. He said, "They're back." I said, "They are back. These bees were supposed to be gone 6 weeks ago."
Bees don't sting adults.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I thought they just sting kids.
No, they sting adults. Central Jersey Group 4. Middletown South, the 1 seed out of the Shore Conference. They beat Winslow last week 24-10. They ran for 228 yards on 35 carries. Donovan Summies, 118 on 16 touches, led the way. They only threw 6 passes for 103 yards and a touchdown. Colin Gallagher led the defensive effort with 9 tackles. Middletown South lost 1 game, and it was to Red Bank Catholic. It was pretty darn good. Mainland beat Long Branch 34-20. They will head up to Middletown South. That game is supposed to be Friday at 7 p.m. Stephen Ordeal, 3 rushing touchdowns. Jabril Mace, 137 rush yards and a touchdown. And Cohen Cook also ran for 1. Mace's 39-yard run to close the first half helped the Mustangs gallop away. Their 8th win in a row. They're seeking their 7th sectional title. Middletown South seeking its 11th. This game, on the other hand, Mac, seems like one where either team would be happy to play in the rain.
We just talked about it, right? They can control the ball, run the ball. November, December football. This is how they're built, defense, etc. I guess Mainland. I don't know when the last time Mainland won a title was. I gotta pull. I don't know if I could pull that from, but
Will Hickson will tell us here in a second.
yeah, I mean Middleton South going for its 11th. I mean they're perennial. They've been perennial Central,
Yeah.
and then have trickled down the South every once in a while. Mace is a special kid though. I mean that's
He really is.
he does some unique things, and when you got the best player on the field. I mean, I don't want to state the obvious, but this is high school too. When you got the best player, it's always a nice little couple aces in the hand there.
We talk about Gallagher on defense for Middletown South. J.J. Sinclair on defense for Mainland is a big key to this as well for Coach Smith's team. This matchup, Mainland, Middletown South, and the 2 matchups in Group 5 are the ones that have West Jersey League teams against out-of-area teams. We'll see. Kingsway, the 2 seed in South Jersey Group 5, is headed to Toms River North. The 1 seed, the Mariners, are unbeaten, 11-0. Friday at 6 p.m.
Triple rematch or something, right?
Well, here's the deal, Mac. I'm glad you asked.
I brought it up, Rod.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked because I've got that in here somewhere. 2019, Kingsway won 19-14 at Toms River North. They went on to lose to Cherokee in the sectional final. Last year, they win 21-14 at Toms River North in the sectional final. The Mariners scored with 57 seconds left to tie it. Nate Mayers, found Luke Van Brill on a 36-yard touchdown pass with 7 seconds left to win it for the Dragons. So, yeah, these two teams are very familiar with each other, and Kingsway's had the better of it here recently. Last week, Toms River North beat Marlboro 42-6. Micah Ford is a dude, Dwayne Morris. He had 6 for 6, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns passing. He also ran for a mere 257 yards and 3 touchdowns. They've got some other guys, too. Jeremiah Pruitt ran for a touchdown. Tariq Council caught one. Toms River North gave up 48 points in its first 2 games, wins over Washington Township and Rumson. But since then, they've given up 32 total. They're scoring 49 a game, a little upwards of that. They're allowing less than 6. They've only had one game that really had a close margin, 28-21 against Township at Battle at the Beach. Kingsway will not be deterred. They beat Cherokee 41-14. They're hitting their stride. Real quick, Mac, Mayers throws for 214 and 3 touchdowns to knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs. He ran for one as well. Darrell Brown ran for one, caught one. Benny Lyles, 119 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. They've won 6 of their last 7 since starting 2-2.
Look, I look at it like you got the mayor's kid back from last year.
Yeah.
I mean experience helps. You got to stop the Ford kid. Is that stating the obvious? My goodness.
That's the key to this game. I mean, some stats that I looked at from Kevin Emmons. He's a 1,000-yard passer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 1,000-yard rusher. He has 25 touchdowns. I mean, that is the key to the game. That's it.
Right,
there.
that guy. Now, easier said than done, right? That guy. There's a reason he's the guy.
There is a reason he is the guy.
But I've been.
But he was on the team last year too. Don't forget.
Yeah, he was, but he's a year older too.
Yeah, he's better.
Look, we've played the Toms River North teams in 14 and 15, and they can bleed you, right? The frustrating thing about playing a North team is they give you some formations, they unbalance you.
Yeah.
They'll run that quarterback run on 3rd and 6. I remember we just couldn't get off the field in 14 and 15, and this like 15, 16 play drives. They're demoralizing, and having a kid Ford who can not only get you the 3 or 4 yards to move the sticks, he can get you 30 or 40 by breaking it. So,
I would say Toms River North is the prohibitive favorite to win the state championship in Group 5. I mean, that's my personal opinion. Touching base with some folks up north, I mean, they've seen Ford play. They've watched some of the competition up there. Nothing against anybody else, but they are the team to beat. They're undefeated for a reason. They've been absolutely dominant. I mean, they scored 70 in a game this year.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, Kingsway needs it to be in that 21-14, 19-14 range.
Yeah,
right?
Low scoring. Stop the Ford kid. Like you said, if Kevin Miller and Coach Hendricks, the defense, they pride themselves on best player, best play. You got to stop the kid. You got to tackle him, and that's easier said than done in these situations because there's a reason why he's got the numbers he has. So, this will be a fun one for Kingsway. Like you said, prohibitive favorite. Toms River North not only to win the South, probably to win the whole thing. And we have some horses in the game. Hoping that doesn't happen down here.
David's going to take his slingshot, and let's hope the mascots don't have anything to do with it because dragons can breathe fire in the rain, and Mariners that's right where they want to be, right? Navigating on. All right, sorry. Central Jersey Group 5. One of the schools involved in this, I'm just looking here, Edison's won 2 sectional titles. Lenape's only won 1, and Coach Woj at Lenape is looking to tie the all-time leader in sectional title wins at Lenape. He happens to be sitting right here.
I hope he ties and goes further and breaks it.
Last week, the Tribe at 6-4, the top seed, they survive Atlantic City 21-20. Now look, Zaire Goffney Fleming, 27 carries, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. He ties the game with a 31-yard touchdown run with 3 minutes and 58 seconds left. The extra point was the difference from Ethan Blackburn. This is a 95-yard drive. It takes almost 9 minutes. But here's the important part about this play. Mac, you always give me trouble about this, but this time I did my homework. Mike Citarone, offensive lineman, junior, makes the block at the line of scrimmage, gets to the second level, makes the block that springs Goffney Fleming. It looked like Jason Kelsey on this play. Boom, boom. Goffney Fleming, touchdown. Lenape kicks the extra point. It's good. Really, really big play by Mike. Congratulations, junior offensive lineman. Atlantic City, hey, they were there for the challenge. Ice Cup, played great. Sinai DeGraff and Wright, Alan Packard, Joe Lyons. Congratulations, Coach Wright, on an excellent season. Nothing to hang your head about. Lenape got all it wanted. Now, they win 21-20, so they're going to host this thing. They're going to play the 6th seed, Edison, who's 8-3. Edison beat North Brunswick 33-31. How did they beat North Brunswick, you ask?
Crazy game.
North Brunswick led the game 31-17. They went up 31-17. How much time left on the clock? 3 minutes and 58 seconds. The same amount of time as when Zaire put this thing away for Lenape. So you're thinking it's over. It's 31-17. Well, Edison throws a touchdown pass, 31-24 with 2:53 left. Edison gets the onside kick. They score again. They say, let's go for 2 in the win. They don't get it. They're down 31-30. All right, got to kick the onside kick again.
2 onside kicks in one game?
They get it. Selbin Sabio, 30-yard kick to win it. If anyone could feel North Brunswick's pain of giving up 2 onside kicks and 16 points in the final few minutes, it's Lenape, who did this a few weeks ago against St. Joe in one of the craziest finishes I've ever seen. It is remarkable that happened in a playoff game.
Right,
it's incredible that it happened in 2 games in the same state in 3 weeks.
And the fact that one team is the common denominator, and the fact that Lenape was playing in the other game and playing the team that happened to do it. So huge opportunity for Edison in doing, the quarterback on film, heady play, getting down at the end of the game so they can kick the field goal after, they get the second onside kick. Edison goes down. I mean, look, I'm 31-17, think game's over, right? I mean, you would think. But then 2 onside kicks, how do you get 2 onside kicks in a game? Well, they got them. And they kicked the game-winning field goal to win it, to get to an opportunity for a sectional title. And they got it. Well, now they got to travel to Mount Laurel. Now that we're Medford, wherever, Lenape High School, wherever that piece of land's located.
I mean, I still can't get over the finish. And now Lenape, of course, like you said, now they are going to host on that beautiful new turf of theirs. And if you said before the season the 2 school district teams that would be hosting the sectional finals, you might have thought Cherokee and Shawnee, not Seneca and Lenape. But here they are. And Coach Woj and company, look, Mike LeMay, we've talked about him time and time again, and Zaire Goffney Fleming. It's like NBA Jam, right? You're picking those 2. Those are my 2 guys. Who are yours 2? Yaxos does a great job at quarterback.
You can have the other 5.
Right.
But I mean, look at you could say Jalen's a quarterback. The Mims kid has done an unbelievable job.
He has.
I mean, if you watch the game, I was talking to Coach Martino. Some of his smartest plays are the plays he doesn't try to force. He just, we play for another day. We move, we'll throw it to the band, as we used to say, and we'll just continue to drive. They know what they have. They know their weapons. Nobody really feels that you just kind of, the ship is steadied. And they know that they just got to keep moving the ball. Guys will make plays. And they do.
Yeah, that's going to be a really, really good game on Friday night at 7 p.m. Non-public Group A. Now St. Augustine. Here we go. The 8 seed. They beat St. John Vianney 45-0 last week. Julian Turney, 3 rushing touchdowns. Ty McClear, rushing touchdown. Nasir Christmas with a knot, a pick 6, a Christmas present. Prep limits Vianney to 25 yards on 23 runs. Just 55 yards in the game. Dominant effort from the Hermits. 4 years in a row they've reached playoffs. The Hermits have won a game. They've won 5 in a row since starting 1-4 this season. Don Bosco is the 1 seed. They had the first round bye. They spoiled St. Augustine's home playoff game last year, 17-0. Mac, every time we get to this point in the season, we talk about St. Augustine. Tall task.
Right.
But this team, I do want to say this. This team is very young.
Oh, yeah, they're on the younger side of this.
And this is, we'll see what happens.
Look, I'm not, anytime you got to go play Bosco, I mean, unfortunately, people say, hey, listen, great, your Vianney win was nice. You dominated. But show us. Go beat that Northern Jersey team. Go beat the Boscos of the world. Go beat the Montvales of the world, et cetera, et cetera. If anything, this team young enough to kind of start getting a feel what this process is like. But as I said on the soapbox, there's seniors on this football team. There's seniors that want to, they're not ready to hand in the helmet yet. So, and anytime you get a chance to play arguably one of the best teams in the state and sometimes one of the best teams in the country, great opportunity.
I got to give a shout out to our guy Isom here. He says, can we get it back on the shelf if we win? It is on the shelf. We're just blocking it off. Coach Mack. So let's go ahead and give it some
there you go.
South Jersey pride here. Go Hermits. Go up there and shock the state, as Bobby says.
I was blocking it.
Way to go, Mac.
Sorry about that. I'm going to get the wings in there and the Hermit.
I don't think you could block anything else with the Hermits but that. I don't trust you against that line. Now, St. Joe Montvale beat Paul to 6 in our other game in non-public, a 45-13. Paul to 6, another young team, a lot of impressive players. They'll be back next season. Non-public B, St. Joe Hamilton beat Montclair Immaculate 17-0. Jimmy Montuano, rush touchdown. Javion Swain, rush touchdown. St. Joe, 2 safeties in this game. They're up 15-0. At halftime, they leaned on the defense. 2 safeties. I hope you started St. Joe Hamilton's defense in fantasy. Shutout, 2 safeties. Good Lord. They are not going to play this week. We thought they were going to play next week. They played the week ahead. I don't know what schedule is going on down there. But I do know this. They're not going to play this week because the team they're going to play hasn't played yet. They will play either Immaculata or DePaul play this week. The 4 seed Holy Spirit, 7-1, welcomes St. Thomas Aquinas, 9-1, Friday. Spirit has quarterback Sean Burns. He's thrown for more than 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns. Wide receiver Gavin Roman, 78 catches, 940 yards, and 4 touchdowns. If you think, well, that's not a lot of touchdowns, it's because Jaden Lanos is taking them. He's got 11 through the air, 530 yards receiving. Jasir Ward, 708 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns. Division champs. They beat out Kingsway in that wild game at the end of the season. They've won 5 in a row since a 4-point loss to St. Joe. St. Thomas Aquinas is out of the Big Central. Their lone loss came in the opener, a 5-point setback to Timber Creek. Trojans versus Spartans, right? Bring your sword. Bring your shield. St. Thomas Aquinas, the men of Troy, they're not too happy about the road trip. They had a higher ranking with the formula, but the non-pubs, they have a seating meeting, and Spirit got the nod. Aquinas has some impressive wins. They beat Edison a few weeks ago, and they beat Hillside, who's in a Group 3 final up north. Holy Spirit welcomes them, Matt. What do you think?
Well, this week we're Holy Spirit fans. I've got a chance to see, Burns and Roman, and they're a tough football team because they know how to win games. They're built to win in the playoffs, right? They're built to they don't flinch, fourth quarter type stuff in sometimes close games. So Aquinas, I haven't seen them much. I mean, they beat
Both these guys.
Aquinas beat Edison, right? Edison, as we know, is a really good team. It's again, spirit finds a way typically in these type of situations, and it's nice to be home.
I would never want to play Holy Spirit when Charlie Roman has 2 weeks to figure out a game plan. My 2 cents. But we'll see. Should be a good game for those down in Absecon. And they still are supposed to play Atlantic City on Turkey Day, but with the non-pub playoffs and the championship, I don't know. As Kevin Minnick said, we don't really know. I know they had a lot arranged for that game. It's the 100th meeting between Holy Spirit and Atlantic City. One of the last Turkey Day games that's still going on. I do want to mention this.
How come the non-pubs don't have their schedules figured out for playoffs?
Well, I think they did. St. Joe moved their game up. I don't know if that was because of the field or what, because they had to play at Buna.
Got it.
So I'm not sure. Tom Pagic, Senior Showcase. You be sure to sign up for this if you're an unsigned senior. There are a lot of schools coming. Assumption is coming. Just announced, right?
Yes, sir.
Conference champs?
Go Hounds.
That's right. Go Hounds. Follow Coach Pagic on Twitter at Coach Pagic, Pajic. You probably saw his ad or listened to it earlier in the broadcast, jerseygridironscout.com. Sign up for that thing. It's the first week of December.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to be there if you're an unsigned senior.
That's a great event. Quarterback that's playing for St. Thomas Aquinas was at the showcase, Jaden Young. So that's something that you guys want to look out for. We got to see him perform right there
Tom has 2 guys to watch in our game of the week, by the way. Millville linebacker, number 8, Mr. Cornish, 6'1", 205-pound junior. Is it Ossier? You pronounce it Ossier? It might be wrong. But if I got it wrong, please don't hit me on Friday night, Ossier, because you're a middle linebacker and I lost too much weight in the offseason. He's a fast, physical linebacker, attacks the line of scrimmage every play. Double-digit tackles in a few games this season. Plays special teams, stands out in the kickoff return unit. One of the first guys down the field to make a play on the returner. Going to need to play like that against that Hamilton run game. On the other side, Coach Pagic loves Kai O'Neal Presley, 6'2", 210-pound senior, number 2 defensive end, one of the best up front in South Jersey. Top pass rusher in the state, 32 tackles, 9 for loss. Second in the state with 15 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. 15 sacks, that's unbelievable. No. Millville likes to pass, the pass rusher. Hamilton likes to run, the middle linebacker. I like where your head's at, Tom. That's why you're the best, man. Be sure to sign up for that unsigned senior showcase if you're looking for an opportunity to play at the next level. The best 11 rankings will return after the playoffs. Still got a few weeks. Want to thank everybody here for watching and listening. Live from Studio B here on Wednesday night. We went back to our regular scheduled programming. That Tuesday afternoon recording just felt weird, man.
It was weird, but it was a good night. The Phillies had 5 home runs that night. And that was their last win of the season.
Yeah, well, I guess. Good for them.
I'm just saying what happened. I'm just giving facts, Rod.
There are a lot of teams out there this weekend that wish they were playing. So if you're playing, if you're lacing them up, whether it's in the rain, whether it's in the sun, whether it's in the cold, be very grateful and good luck. Be sure to stay healthy. We want to make sure that everybody is, come on, South Jersey, bring back as many of these sectional finals as we can. Rod, what do you got? I can see you got something.
No, I'm just thinking it's a big weekend. I hope everybody has a ton of fun. Just enjoy it. And like Coach said, just think about, those older guys and just focus on winning this weekend. So it could be your last go round as a senior.
Most of these guys are done playing football after this weekend.
Exactly.
That's it. Everybody's got dreams. They want to play. They want to play Sundays. Want to play Saturdays. Want to play college. Want to play. Very few. When you look back and guys are 5, 6, 7 years out of high school, playing playing throughout after high school, all those years. It's so enjoy the moment. We talked about that in the beginning of the season, but it's now at a finality. It's now the ending is here.
Life is all about perspective. Football is no different. For me and you, we're going to have the perspective this weekend of watching football and not feeling crippled by illness. And we're going to feel very grateful for that. Everybody else, get some vitamin C and be sure to protect against this thing. It was not fun. Thank you for bearing with us. I know we were a little punch drunk at times and trying to wobble through here. We did our best. And the guy who made it all possible, Rod Self, Studio B. We'll be back here Sunday morning for my Hats Off podcast live at 9 a.m. We'll talk about these championship games and take a look forward at some state semifinals. All right, Mac. That's it. That's all I got.
Did you say Roll Tribe?
Roll Trible. Roll Tribe. We'll see you guys next